Hello, everyone. Continuing with the stories of geography, culture, and history. This is the story of the Maldives, one of the countries that has redefined the concept of what is paradise. Let's find out together now. First of all, we need to know where the Maldives Islands are located and which country they belong to, or is it an independent country? Maldives is a tourist paradise located in the south of India and about 700 kilometers southwest of Sri Lanka. The island is so small that if you rotate Google Maps, unless you have sharp eyes, you can't even see it. The Maldives consists of 26 coral atolls that circle a territory, which includes a total of 1,192 islets, about 200 of which are inhabited by communities, and more than 80 are private islands, home to many resorts. The rest are either too small to sustain life on the islands or too far away to support any kind of project. The Maldives is tiny, measuring just 298 square kilometers, making it the smallest country in Asia, and its population is only about 530,000. It is the smallest Muslim country in Asia, as well as the smallest Muslim country in the world. And Maldives does not share land borders with any country. The countries closest to Maldives by ocean are Sri Lanka and India. It is also worth noting that 99% of Maldives is water, meaning only 1% is actually land, and there are only 2 freshwater lakes on the island, with no mountains. This is why Maldives has found that tourism is the biggest way to boost the country's economy, and 99% of Maldives household goods are imported from other countries. Let's go back a bit to the Maldives history. Maldives gained independence and sovereignty from the United Kingdom in 1965 and has been an independent nation ever since. Nearly a decade later, they welcomed their first tourists. And at that time, traveling out into the middle of the Indian Ocean, where almost no one but the locals had set foot, was crazy. There is no pier, tourists from the boat have to wade into the water to get to the shore. And another fact about the Maldives is that it was actually founded by an Indian prince in exile. That story is from 270 BC. Let's talk a little about their national flag. The Maldives' national flag is made up of a large red rectangle with a small green triangle inside. The red color has always represented the bravery of the Maldives' national heroes, while the green color symbolizes peace and prosperity. A white crescent in the middle of a green rectangle symbolizes Maldives' connection to the Islamic faith. If you look closely, you will see a coincidence. Almost all Muslim countries use both green and white on their flags. A green tree mentioned in the King Quran describes the lush green landscape with flower gardens with fruit trees and the clothes of the inhabitants of paradise through the words of the King Quran. In short, for the Muslim community, a green tree symbolizes prosperity and happiness. Even visitors to the Maldives must comply with local regulations and strict traditions of Islamic law. However, few people know that, at first, Maldives was a Buddhist country, and it was only in the 12th century that Maldives became a Muslim country when Muslims came here with merchants. Now the main story will be how Maldives redefined paradise. Traveling to Maldives, the first thing you will see is the airport located in their capital. One of the smallest capitals in the world, this airport is surrounded by the rich nature and clear blue water of Maldives. This is truly a wonderful experience. And when you set foot on the land, there will be no supercars, no highways, because there are only islands, islands, and islands. The capital Mel is one of the smallest capitals in the world, but in terms of population density, it is very large. Because on this small area of the capital, there are more than 153,000 people living. A very bustling city with all kinds of services and many products that tourists can buy here. Maldives is not only famous for swimming and watching the sea, but also famous for diving to explore the reefs, coral reefs, and underwater animals. Therefore, diving in Maldives is a top experience that you definitely need to try. It is also worth knowing that thanks to the development of tourism, Maldives has had a transformation that can be called miraculous. From a country with nothing, 99% of its area is water. They are isolated and have a poor economy. They have become one of the countries that attract the most tourists in the world. Here, this country regularly welcomes about 1.7 million tourists every year and up to 28% of Maldives' GDP comes from tourism. This is the highest contribution in the world. No country has a higher GDP contribution from tourism than Maldives. When people thought that Maldives would be affected by the COVID-19 epidemic, which greatly affected the tourism industry, but in fact they escaped this trap very quickly. Because this country consists of many islands, it is also a process of isolation. The familiar image of Maldives is coconut groves with white sand beaches, blue sky, water surface with small waves. In Maldives, you can find all activities related to sea tourism, swimming, learning about fishing, watching the sunset, diving to see coral, swimming with sharks, to luxury experiences such as taking a seaplane to see the entire island from above, enjoying dinner at luxury restaurants. In Maldives, there's a saying like this, that is, come to Maldives before it is too late. Come, it is not just an invitation, but a warning of what here, that is a warning of the rising sea level. And Maldives is a country that will be greatly threatened by this situation. According to the Guinness World Records, up to 80% of the area of Maldives is only 2 m above sea level. And with the current situation of climate change and rising sea levels, Maldives may disappear by 2050. This is not a threat. For example, the story of 2004. At that time, the earthquake and tsunami disaster in the Indian Ocean had a heavy impact on Maldives. At that time, up to 20 Maldives Islands had sunk to the bottom of the sea and completely disappeared, forcing people to redraw the map of the whole country. At that time, the Maldives government even taught this idea, which was to migrate the entire population of this island nation to another place. But migrating about 400,000 people at that time was completely an extremely difficult option, and where to migrate to, people could not answer. The government here has a very clever way of warning people about rising sea levels. In 2009, the president of Maldives moved a cabinet meeting underwater. The president and many other officials prepared strange equipment and had tables on the seabed. Here are some interesting facts about the Maldives. Maldives is the flattest country in the world, with an average elevation of only 1.8 m above sea level. The closest competitor to the Maldives is Qatar, with an average elevation of 28 meters. But even the highest point on the Maldives is extremely low. If in other countries we use the unit of thousands of meters, the highest point of the Maldives is only 2.3 meters. That means you just need to jump and raise your arms to reach the highest point of the Maldives. It is unbelievable. The next interesting fact is the special sand in Maldives. The sand in Maldives is white, not yellow. It is a special type of sand that only accounts for 5% of the total sand in the world, because the majority of sand in the world is quartz. The next interesting fact is the rich marine life, especially dolphins and whales. Of course, for an island nation that is mostly water like the Maldives, marine life is extremely rich. It is estimated that this place is home to about 1,500 to 2,500 whales and dolphins. And not only that, Maldives is also famous for the world's largest fish, the whale shark, which is 5.5 m to 10 m long. Continuing with a fact about nature, the symbolic tree of Maldives is the coconut tree. The coconut tree is the main tree grown in this island nation. The coconut tree provides shade, fruit, water, and almost every part of the coconut tree can be used for their own lives. The next interesting facts will be related to the people and culture. Up to 98% of the Maldives population are literate. They are literate. This is really a great effort of the Maldives because we know that they are located on about 200 islands, so unifying the education system, going to school, is extremely difficult. And the Maldives has a different weekend. In the West, our weekends are Saturday and Sunday. But in the Maldives, the weekends are Friday and Saturday. And Sunday is the first day of the week. If you often visit Muslim countries, this is no longer strange. The last interesting fact will surely surprise you. This is the country with a record divorce rate. The Guinness Book of World Records has recognized that the Maldives has a divorce rate twice as high as that of the United States. One study also estimated that the average Maldives woman has been divorced 3 times before turning 30. Adulterers in the Maldives are publicly exposed or flogged. In fact, the vast majority of those who are beaten are women. A 2006 census found that 184 women were beaten that year, and the number of men? Only 38. Most of the accused men denied the charges and were acquitted, not that they were any better than the women. This is indeed a very special thing with such a high rate of adultery in a country that is chosen as a honeymoon destination by all the couples in the world. Everyone wants to come here to enjoy their honeymoon. That is also the end of today's story about the journey to Maldives, the smallest island nation in Asia. But they have redefined the concept of paradise. Thank you for following this story. If you find it interesting, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and share. And now it is time to say goodbye.